Hello. Oh, looks like okay. TikTok does work this week. Go figure. I love how it's completely random. That's so cool. You love to see it. That's awesome. All right. Let me just set up the stream. So I'm just gonna be chilling here for a little bit while we do that. I'll put on some show tunes for you in the meantime.
Hamburger hum, hamburger 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 hum, hamburger 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 hum, hamburger 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 hum, hamburger, cheeseburger cheeseburger cheeseburger, Big Mac Big Mac Big Mac Big Mac, Whopper 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 Whopper, hamburger cheeseburger Big Mac Whopper, hamburger cheeseburger Big Mac Whopper, hamburger cheeseburger Big Mac Whopper, 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 Big Mac Whopper, hamburger 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 hum, hamburger 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 hum, hamburger 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 hum, hamburger, cheeseburger cheeseburger cheeseburger, Big Mac Big Mac Big Mac Big Mac, cheeseburger cheeseburger, Big Mac Big Mac Big Mac Big Mac, cheeseburger cheeseburger, Big Mac Big Mac Big Mac Big Whopper Whopper,
Where is
cheeseburger,
it
Big
coming
Mac
from the
Big
second
Mac
time?
Big Mac Big Whopper Whopper,
Where is
cheeseburger,
it
Big
coming
Mac
from the
Big
second
Mac
time?
Big Mac Big Whopper
Ooh,
Whopper,
we're having some audio issues. Oh, I know what's
Whopper
going on.
Whopper,
We're having some audio issues. Oh, I know. I've got my own channel up.
Whopper.
There we go.
Hamburger,
This is
hamburger,
what you all
hamburger,
asked
hum.
for. This is important stuff.
Hamburger, hamburger, hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, cheeseburger, 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 Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Whopper, 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 hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, Big Mac, Whopper. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, cheeseburger, 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 Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Whopper, 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 hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, Big Mac, Whopper. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, cheeseburger, 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 Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Whopper, 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 hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, Big Mac, Whopper. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, cheeseburger, 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 Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Whopper, 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 hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, Big Mac, Whopper. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, cheeseburger, 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 Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Whopper, 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 hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, Big Mac, Whopper. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, cheeseburger, 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 Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Whopper, 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 hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, Big Mac, Whopper. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, 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 hum. Hamburger, cheeseburger, 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 Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Whopper, 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 hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, Big Mac, Whopper. Hamburger, hum, hamburger, 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 hum, hamburger, 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 hum, hamburger, 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 hum, hamburger, cheeseburger, 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 Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Big Mac, Whopper, 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 hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac, Whopper, Big Mac, Whopper. Hamburger, hum, hamburger, 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 hum, hamburger, 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 hum, hamburger, 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 hum, hamburger, cheeseburger, cheeseburger, cheeseburger.
Okay, great. The stream is set up. I thought I would do that because I know that that's what my audience craves. This kind of thing. It's very important that I give the people what they want, and I know that you wanted some nice music to start the day. So with that in mind, it's been a while. I think I want to say that I streamed the week before last, but I can't even remember because I've been doing a lot of interviews and I was sick for a week. I know last week I didn't do it because I was sick, and I might not have done it the week before, but I must have. I did it on the 15th. That was what, 2 weeks ago. Okay, great. So yeah, so I missed one stream, but I actually got a new job as a result of those interviews, which was cool. Hey Sierra, welcome to the stream. Hello. So I will have a new schedule because I'm working Friday to Monday now. So basically I'm going to either be doing Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday stream. And if you want to weigh in on that, I do have a poll going on YouTube as to whether I'm doing one or the other. And of course, if you're just here, throw it in the chat. I'm still going to be doing probably 7 p.m. Pacific. I might do earlier though. I'm pretty flexible. I went to the No Kings protest, met a Palestinian family, and I was in tears. That's badass. I went to the No Kings protest yesterday as well, and I thought it was a great event. Honestly, I think that this I've seen a lot of people extremely critical of the No Kings protests, and I have found that they are mostly just kind of terminally online losers who have basically nothing to contribute to the political conversation. So nothing of value was lost there. But yeah, I think the No King stuff has been great. Honestly, I think that anything that can mobilize that many people, where it's going to be a segment that we talk about today, is definitely a positive thing. And I think for the terminally online leftist types who say that it sucks or whatever, you suck. It's basically like, unless you can organize something similar in scale or effect, I don't really think there's any point, saying that kind of thing. And there were lots of leftist organizations there, anti-war organizations and contingents there. So clearly, the people who actually get out there and organize agree with me. It's a good way to further organize more stuff and see hope that people are against them. Yeah, I mean, I really don't get, most of the critiques that I've seen of it are basically like, well, it didn't overthrow the government, it doesn't have demands, and it isn't revolutionary enough. To which I say, like, what protest are you referring to that has happened within the like that is less than 40 years old at this point, that had demands and was successful in any meaningful way? I guess I don't think, I think it's a bad critique. I'm going to get into that later. I feel like I shouldn't just dump all of that at once here, but I definitely have not been impressed by that particular contingent of people who are criticizing No Kings when they have kind of nothing to offer themselves. And where should we start? Let's just get this ball rolling because there's a lot to do. We do have demands. I think every faction of the left have different demands, though. Nah, yeah, I mean, I don't think that the No Kings protests really have demands per se, though. They're not even saying, like, the closest thing to a demand I could think of is like impeach Donald Trump or something. And like, I don't know, even if that was the demand, it wouldn't like matter. And that's another thing, is like, if you made it have demands, I don't think the result would be different because this is protesting the Republican government, which is a death cult. They're not like a serious entity or whatever. So I don't really think it matters, honestly. Like, if you just have demands that you know will not even come remotely close to being met, and you mobilize 8 million people, like in this case, I don't know how that's like functionally different from having a protest that doesn't have demands. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's more of a persuasive exercise of, and like, of showing people that you can oppose this openly, and you should. And like, if you're also angry about the situation that Donald Trump has created, then obviously, like, you have a contingency out here. You can see them in the street. So I think that's more the effect. But we as separate people do have them, so the losers are annoying who are against the protest. Yes, they are. And fortunately, you don't really have to engage with them, because if you just leave, if you're not on Twitter, they functionally don't even exist. So I don't know. A lot of people are bot, a lot of people are ops, a lot of people are just, have mental illness, and the way they express it is through like complaining online. So those people, either they need to get help or medication or whatever, but they need to, stop taking money from the CIA or whatever foreign government, but there's not really any helping them otherwise. So let's start with something light and funny, which is RFK Jr. saying things that he thinks are serious about Donald Trump. So let's just get right into that. Let me pull it up here. Get these headphones in, these bad boys. So yeah, we're reaching the point of the mythologization of Donald Trump. I think that the Republicans all know that he's going to die soon. So they're trying to come up with a way to kind of evangelize around him and create kind of a religious mythology. And I hope you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. I even saw that some Republicans were at the protest protesting Trump too. LOL. Yeah, the Lincoln Project people. There are dozens of us. Dozens. Like, they exist. You shouldn't do what Kamala Harris did and try to make them a main plank of your voting demographics or anything, but they do exist, and I am happy, I guess, that they recognize that Donald Trump is ass. I think they should stop being Republicans, because being a Republican was evil before Trump, but you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, show up.
He has encyclopedic molecular knowledge on this wide range of very, very eclectic interests.
Encyclopedic molecular knowledge on these what interests? Oh my God.
Music, Broadway shows, pro wrestling, football, every sport, golf, and business and Wall Street. He knows how everybody made their money and what deals they made. And he tells stories all the time about it. It's just one after the other. And one time during the campaign, I was on the airplane with him, and we were sitting across the table from each other eating McDonald's.
Is it ableist to make fun of his voice? How far can we go with that?
Drinking Diet Coke. And we started talking about Syria, and he got a placemat, and he turned it on its back, and then he took a Sharpie and he drew a perfect map of the Mideast. And then he put the troop strength of every country on every border on that map. And it just, it challenged a lot of the assumptions that I had been told about him. He has, he has this extraordinary depth of knowledge about what's happening in each one of the agencies, my agency and the others. And, and then he has an instinct for making good choices.
Yes. Well, I have to say that.
And I would say this. I think my uncle, John Kennedy, understood the uses of power better than any president who's preceded him. I think Donald Trump understands the uses of power better than probably any president that we've had, at least since Roosevelt and maybe in American history.
The big tell is that he unfolded this napkin map or whatever and told RFK Jr. absolutely everything that every department is doing in relation to these countries and all this shit. But no examples, not a single, actual bullet point of what any of those things are. RFK Jr. didn't learn anything from this or whatever, I guess is what he's trying to say. But Like, obviously, it goes without saying that this did not happen. What they're doing here is trying to create like a mythology of the genius Trump and how he had this like encyclopedic knowledge of everything, and how, it's like when dictators basically like pass away, and then like 20 years later you'll hear like, oh yes, fucking um the genius autocrat, the master administrator of the state. I was walking along one day and he stood in the sun of a beggar, and the beggar simply told him, get out of my shade, after he asked him to do anything, like the Alexander the Great thing. It's like, the Donald Trump was sitting under the lotus tree and I approached him for wisdom, and he told me that Syria has such and such a relationship with the CIA. Like, they're literally just trying to mythologize him and make like a story about him, so that later when he passes away, his little vassals or whatever, his clerics, can go out here and say that they had firsthand knowledge. They touched Donald Trump's purple hands one time, and it imparted a knowledge and wisdom of the universe that they had never before seen. So they are uniquely qualified to rule the nation now, and you're gonna see this, like, after he goes away, after we're done partying like harder than anyone has ever partied in history. We're gonna come back, and the Republicans will have created like a, instead of just a cult of personality, a literal cult around the various anecdotes of Donald the Wise or whatever. And this is just the beginning of that. It really is telling that they really don't have like any political future that can be disconnected from Trump. They have to basically mythologize him and make it so that there's going to be a religion moving forward around him, and they can fight and bicker over who inherits the religion and who is the true Trumpist, I guess, in the future or whatever. And there's gonna be like schisms. They're gonna be talking about whether, when Donald Trump said bigly, did he mean large or did he mean deep? Things like this, you know what I mean? They're gonna, Donald Trump, when he ate the McDonald's, what combo meal did he get? What combo meal imparts wisdom upon the eater? Um, I can see it now. So this is just the beginning of it. And RFK Jr., if you'll recall, was running as a Democrat against Kamala Harris when Donald Trump basically either bribed him with a position in the government so that he could make it so that a ton of kids die of measles. That was kind of the end game there. So, it's nonsense, but it is kind of funny. Like, I can't sit here and take this too seriously, because I know that this guy's lying through his teeth, and even he doesn't believe any of the words he's saying. But he's been like a con artist for years now. It's like how in what was it, Samoa or Guam or something, where he got all those people killed through his anti-vax, anti-measles thing. He doesn't care. He's totally cool with going along with whatever BS line that Trump feeds him, so that he can get his kind of anti-vaxxer, health woo-woo crystal worshipping crap out there. And isn't it funny that like there was a period of time where like the hippy dippy types were considered, they're like lib coded, and I feel like now they're all conservative, obviously, because they don't believe in vaccines, and that's like a Republican thing. They don't believe in Western medicine, quote unquote. Excuse me. They don't believe in Western medicine. They don't believe in science in general. They believe in spirits and fairies and shit. These people are all right-wing coded now. And I actually feel like that's more of a return to form for them, because they've always been kind of reactionary and, let's be real, like intolerant, superstitious freaks. They're much more at home with the Republican Party than they ever were with the Democrats. And it was only kind of a coincidence that the hippies of like the 70s and stuff were liberal aligned, mostly because I think they wanted to do drugs. Like, I'm not even kidding. They wanted to do drugs, and they wanted to do, free love or whatever. But that's not even like Democrat coded anymore. Obviously, like LGBT rights is like Democrat coded, leftist coded, that kind of thing. But all of this superstitious mumbo jumbo shit is right back where it belongs, on the right. And hopefully, when Trump passes, when it finally happens, we'll see them eat each other up. You know what I mean? There's going to be battles with the Make America Healthy Again people, the evangelical Zionist freaks, all these people. They're going to be battling for supremacy, trying to kind of establish whether or not we ought to have a, you know, semi-spiritual republic where we probably have some yogi dude ruling the country or whatever. We'll have oh gosh, what's his name? Russell Brand. Yeah, Russell Brand for president. Or do you want someone like, what you call it? Who's that Zionist guy who said that he wants to end the world? Zionist, evangelical, pastor, Trump. What's his name? Oh my lord. This guy, right? Yes, it's this. Okay, all right, hold on. I'm gonna find him. It's the man in this picture here. This guy on the right. John Hagee, I think that's him, right? Let me make sure. John Hagee. Yeah. On Israel. Good God. That's all the videos about why he supports Israel are like half an hour long, so I guess I won't go into it. But needless to say, we'll have our pick between evangelical Zionist maniacs who want to end the world, woo-woo hippie freaks who want all of us to get measles and pass away, and of course you'll have your kind of dude bro podcaster, I want to smoke weed but I hate trans people types, our Joe Rogans. So basically what I'm saying is, do you want the evangelical Christian president? Do you want the guy who's ultra committed to Israel? Do you want the president who is ultra committed to taking fluoride out of your water and giving everyone measles? Or do you want a president who goes on Joe Rogan 4 times a week? Those will be your options in the future, and there will be nothing in between. Excuse me. And speaking of evangelical Christians, we gotta check this out. Hold up. Druski just released a new video about conservative women, and let me know if any of them in particular come to mind when you see this, okay?
Get on your feet, boy!
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but
how about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the
In what ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. We are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible. Sweet cream foam chai ice matcha. And Bella will have all organic pop cup.
organic?
Yes, everything organic.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free?
4, 3, 7. Oh, Hannah, you good? 4, 3, 2. Hold your chest lifted. We're gonna lift.
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs. Yes, because they are the ones who mattered most.
This is what we've all been waiting for, this, right? We just needed someone who could perfectly encapsulate what's wrong with these people without actually having to like just describe it. You know, I had a segment on Erica Kirk at following her husband's death, where she basically was acting like like she's in a glee club at a high school or something, right afterwards, replete with fireworks, exactly basically everything you just saw, the freaking glare into the camera between sentences. Excuse me, I'm still recovering from something a little bit, so bear with me. That's going to happen probably more throughout the stream, so I'm still getting back in the swing of it. But she was out here like in the most revelatory mood possible, punctuated by bursts of this like hateful glare that she would use in the weirdest contexts imaginable, even if she was talking about something positive. And everyone in the Republican Party that has seen this has been freaking. All the comedy is legal now people absolutely can't cope with this. They can't take it. Comedy is legal unless you make fun of them. What's that old tweet? Oh, then you, if it's their feeling, no, fuck your feelings. My feelings are quite delicate. They need to be handled like a little baby hummingbird. Like, they're doing that in spades. They're out here saying that we need to stop criticizing Erica Kirk. He never even named Erica Kirk. I mean, we all know that he's talking about her because she had the fucking sparklers and the evil glare between every question in her interviews and stuff. This is like when she said, "Oh yeah, I forgive the guy who killed Charlie Kirk," but then she like had this like unbelievably hateful, angry glare talking about anyone who criticized Charlie Kirk in life. Anyway, it's fantastic, and I think it's we need to have more stuff like this. Whoever does the makeup for Druski, whoever is doing his Whiteface, is absolutely a generational talent. They need to be given like a multi-billion-dollar movie franchise or something. You need to get them in touch with James Cameron so we can get some real work done. But I don't know. He's doing something great here. I feel like basically we all needed this exact caricature of them, because we saw that we had all the building blocks. We had the Mar-a-Lago face, we had the Republican women makeup situation, and I think that this is the synthesis of all of those ideas into the perfect performance art to kind of show what is wrong with these people. And you know what? Who cares? Like, I feel like there's going to be people who are like, "Oh, well, if I did this with a black person, shut the fuck up." You look at conservative humor online and like every other thing is literally like AI cuckoldry porn, and I am not even exaggerating. I wish I was. And they absolutely do stuff that is tantamount to blackface like constantly. What was that shitty Daily Mail movie, He's the Man or something, or what, something like that? No, I think that's actually She's the Man. I forget, like it was something like that that Matt Walsh did, and it was like about just, it was literally just a bigoted anti-trans screed with some of the like lamest jokes you've ever heard in your life. So I'm not exactly sympathetic to them when they come out here and say, "Oh no, this is messing, this is anti-white hate, blah 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 blah." Like, no, it's just funny. And the thing is, conservative public figures, not just Erica Kirk, they're basically asking for it. Let's be real. These people don't want you to have rights. They're super hateful to like any group that they disagree with in any level. This to say nothing of the fact that they're literally trying to end the world, right? Like, they're like, these people are, this is specifically making fun of evangelical Christian women who like pretty gleefully advocate for hideously violent policies in the Middle East and at home. Like, they hate that, you know, you ask any of these people about BLM and they turn into mega Hitler like instantly. So I don't know. I'm very happy he did this. It's really fucking funny, and he could not have picked a softer target. They set themselves up for it. And let's not forget, the biggest canceling event in history, literally ever, was Charlie Kirk passing away and then people memeing about it. And then that got like thousands of people fired, is my understanding. And I think that if you look now, we are Charlie Kirk and and like putting Kirk's face on everything and low Kirk genuinely and getting Kirked and all this crap. First of all, it's hilarious. But second of all, without that initial canceling thing, without the snowflake Republicans going like absolutely batshit insane over that, we never would have gotten all of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, people don't make content like this in a vacuum. It doesn't just magically happen. It's that Republicans very openly want this like one-sided preferential treatment double standard where they can say ludicrously racist stuff. Excuse me. They can say ludicrously racist stuff and get away with it. But the millisecond that you criticize them in any way, they break down crying, screaming, shitting themselves, all of that, because from the beginning, all they want is to dominate others. That's really their sole fixation. It's like a psychological fetish almost for the conservative mind, is to like assert dominance over others. Tails I win, or heads I win, tails you lose. Like, they have no actual comedic sensibilities. All the comedy stuff is just a kind of substrate through which they get to either dominate others or, you know, show how cool they are or whatever. And this isn't really how it works on the left. And I don't even think that getting kirked and low Kirkenuanly and we are Charlie Kirk, I don't even think that that's purely like left-wing humor. It's just funny. Like, you know what I mean? And I think Druski's kind of the same way. Like, Druski, it probably his politics are left, but like, this shit's just funny. Like, you've seen these people, and I'm a firm believer that the more seriously your target takes themselves, the funnier it is to go after them, honestly. And I think that this is just kind of a proof that that's true. You know what I mean? Going after people who are extremely self-serious is basically always funny. And there's nobody more self-serious than the evangelical right. What else we got? We got more. I am actually going to go to the bathroom real quick, so enjoy your view of the chair, because I do got to go blow my nose just real quick. So don't hate me, I'm doing this kind of early in the stream, but I think that it'll make it so I can stay here longer later. So enjoy the chair. Thank you. I hope that wasn't too long. I hope we didn't all ditch here. You know, I think I'm mostly better from being sick, but like, hey, Imperio, welcome. All right, now this is your cue. Send me whatever. I'm doing good. I'm chilling. I was actually just talking about this. I was sick for like a week, and I was job hunting, and I just got a new job, so things have been a little crazy, but in a good way. But what you call it, I'm still kind of recovering from being sick, so I'm thinking today might be on the shorter side as far as my streams go. Hopefully I can muscle through and fight, but I can already feel my voice is I'm only like 30 minutes into this thing and my voice is already kind of going a little bit, so I'm just trying to take it easy. But you know, I'm tired of like having all these political thoughts, and like I don't really want to bore my friends with it. I feel like my friends know that I'm kind of like the political guy in the group or whatever. I can give you some recipes for some remedies we use in Mexico. Send me some bullshit Spanish political videos again. I want to watch more of that. That's been fun. So we can do, I can subject my TikTok audience, because I got the key back for that, to some of the you know, Mexican humor. If you want to do that. And what you call it, yeah, I don't know. I think that we're definitely I remember what I was saying. I tend to be kind of the political guy in my friend group, so they'll, if they want to yap about politics or get something off their chest, you know, they'll text me or whatever. But I don't want to bore people in my life with this current events crap. So it's really nice to have the stream, so I can hop on and kind of get that off my chest and kind of laugh at the horrors that we're always dealing with. So I think thank you for that. Same channel as before, I assume. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm gonna save this. And I'm going to watch it after I do the No Kings segment, which is coming up. Okay, so I'll just put this here and pause it. Great. Okay, so that's on deck. But let's do the No King segment because that's basically the one that I have to do tonight. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just get it out of the way right away. So first of all, thanks, Ad. The first two rounds drew 5 million, then 7 million, and now we are up to a whopping 8 million protesters, okay? So you can't, like, the cumulative effect of hosting these over and over is very obvious. What is No Kings? Good question. So the No Kings protests are basically a mass mobilization of, yes, it's a protest. So we'll watch a video kind of summarizing it, but the short answer is that it is a massive protest event, movement, whatever, full of like viciously angry Democrat boomers, liberal boomers for the most part, who hate Donald Trump. Some of the most viciously angry, hateful signs I have ever seen at a protest were at this thing. Oh, and by the way, in video, I have new emotes in the chat, so you can check those out for followers. I just got them from an artist who I was recommended, who's quite good. So I'll spotlight him later. But yeah, so here let's just do the rundown. Let's do the summary.
Your strength and your commitment told us that this is still America. And this reactionary nightmare and these invasions of American cities will not stand.
I'm here because I'm worried about my children and my grandchildren. I'm tired. We're exhausted. This brings me hope. I have so much hope here. And we can change this. Our government is not going to do it. It has to be we the people.
What we provide is mockery to the king. And we call this part of the Mock and Awe tour. And that's really about just...
They are so fucking weird, dude. Dude, retirement is a wild ride. I can only hope that... I don't know, like, part of it is really silly, and I've seen the meme of, like, the stupid dancers and being like, oh, yeah, we're liberals and we're here to protest, blah, blah, blah. And I get that it's really cringe, but honestly, like... If these people want to spend their free time and their retirement hating on Donald Trump like this, I mean, fine. Like, I think that's fine. Like, it's not like they were going to create a communist politburo or something with that time. If it's this or nothing, fine, fuck it.
Taking authoritarianism and making fun of it, which they hate. And that's what we're doing.
Bro, how long did it take them to make these massive paper mache, like Gertrude and David in your freaking HOA have gotten together to do the craziest shit. Oh, like La Marcha Rosa we had in Mexico to save the independent institute that regulated elections. It then got co-opted by the opposition parties. Well, we only have one opposition party here in the US, which is basically an ineffective bunch of losers. I say bread says bread. Well, I don't know what I expected. You know, I like that it's honest. That's cool. And a follow. Hell yeah. Thank you, I say bread, for following. We can everyone say bread. Bread. All right.
And no one, not the bully in chief, not the racist in chief, not the wannabe king, no one is above the law. They want us to be afraid that there's nothing we can do to stop them. But you know what? They are wrong, dead wrong, because we know better. Millions of us are not afraid to know our rights and exercise them, to stand up for each other and our hard-fought freedom.
What's your favorite type of bread? A good sourdough is definitely my favorite. Like, no doubt. A good sourdough is the best kind of bread that you can have. It has to be it has to be done right. But it's difficult. And I have killed a few starters in my day, so my bread journey has been arrested and interrupted, to say the least. Anyway, I also wanted to share a couple pictures here because I do have some. I went to the No Kings protest myself, so in Seattle. So here you go. It was pretty well attended, you can see. So this was at Cal Anderson Park, Capitol Hill. Got the trans flag there, which was nice. It was very pro-trans speakers and events over there. Sourdough is some of the best bread from North America. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Oh my god! Like, just talking about this, there's a couple of bakeries that I want to go to. And you can see there were thousands of people at this thing. And this was kind of like there was an anti-war contingent, and this is actually a good. Okay, I'm glad this picture came out because so many leftists online have basically been saying that so many leftists online have been saying that the No Kings protest is basically a waste of time, that it's controlled opposition, it's not revolutionary enough, it's not this, it's not that, it hasn't overthrown the government, doesn't have sufficient demands, whatever. And I gotta say, I'm not impressed by these people. Look, all of the real in-person organizer leftists in the city were at this event. Okay, that's why you see all these Palestinian flags there, and these people, had a pretty organized contingent that was with the main march. And like, look, if you're upset that the No Kings protests are insufficient or whatever, we're talking about what is basically the definition of a mass movement, something which can mobilize more than 10% of the country to protest regularly. They've done it 3 times now, 5, then 7, then 8 million people. And if you think it ends with the protests, then that's kind of a tell that you're not involved at all in local politics. Because if you go to any kind of local organizing group, any kind of nonprofit space, town halls, all the people who are at these No Kings protests are also there. Okay, the boomers the Democrat boomers specifically feel so wronged by Kamala losing. They feel so wronged by Donald Trump doing all these things that they are like viciously, bloodthirstily looking for anything to do to get organized. So if you're a leftist in that environment and you can't see the appeal and the opportunity, like God will not help you. Okay, you will not see the light of heaven, I'm afraid, because they're like this is a slam dunk, guys. Like, if you're out here talking about the limitations of No Kings protests and you're not attending them and you're not trying to mobilize people based on the energy that it has created, I just have to ask, like, what the fuck it is that you think that you contribute to politics. You know what I mean? Because it's like these same people will also say electoral politics is a dead end. So you're like, okay, so elections aren't the way to do it. Mobilizing people en masse to protest isn't the way to do it. It's like, what are we doing here? What do you want? And the answer basically is they don't want anything. They're people who have mental illness, who use online politics as an outlet for their stresses. They're people who cannot go. They're agoraphobes, basically, who don't go outside. And they're purity testers who basically they get off, they're typing one-handed about how they're the most revolutionary person. And there's a couple very big accounts on Twitter. I won't name them because I don't want the hordes of fucking unwashed losers to come to my freaking comment section later. But I saw one who was saying that he said that this stuff is lib shit that will never get anything done, and to actually organize for your community. And when he was pressed for like, well, what do you do to organize? And I shit you not, said that he organizes one chapter of a book club in Ontario that has 20 members, and that they have over 100 members, he said. And this was his defense. So it's a Canadian in a place in a province with millions of people where he has organized 20 of them, and the greater organization has organized like 120 people. And this guy's out here criticizing the boomer libs who, with their pure righteous rage and anger, are organizing crowds like this, which I thought, this is very striking. I want you to know that off to the right of this picture, I guess on this side, it is equally, this entire street was just chock full of people. And I wish I had taken pictures of some of the more mean signs, because I saw one where literally Trump was a steaming pile of shit, and they had created little paper mache flies and plugged them into the sign, basically, so that he was like a piece of shit covered in flies. Like, there is no, they have a bottomless well of anger and hatred. And if you ask these people, I want to say Hassan went to these, and he was asking some of the older people there, like, what they think of like Chuck Schumer and the Democratic Party and whether they're meeting the moment. They do not feel like the Democrats are meeting the moment. So you have like dissatisfied, angry, mobilized, connected, high propensity voters all across the country getting together for these. And there are leftists who cannot see the appeal of this, who are out here saying, no, this isn't good enough. They are delusional. They are absolute morons. I cannot respect them. If you're one of those people, I beg you, defend yourself in the comments. Go make a fool of yourself now, so everyone can point and gawk and make fun of you. You know, that would be fantastic. So the US still has a chance? Maybe. I will say there is a limitation in the sense that our electoral system with the Senate and the Electoral College means that you could mobilize every man, woman, and child in all of the blue states and all of the swing states, and you could get them out there, okay? And it's pretty clear Republicans are going to get, like, absolutely murked in the upcoming midterms, but they have a baked-in kind of support from the Senate and from the Electoral College, so it might not be enough, honestly. Like, it might still lead, like, the US may only have a future of collapsing under its own state. Or, sorry, under its own weight. Why don't you have majority elect system instead of, if you have 51% of the vote, you win, like plurality? Because the founding fathers hated democracy, and frankly, having seen Trump supporters and all the people in these kind of inbred communities in the Rust Belt and in, the South and all these evangelical cultists or whatever, they are beyond redemption. So, I mean, I can kind of relate to the founding fathers saying, well, you know, giving these people the vote is kind of similar to giving, oh God, what are they called? Burros, mules the vote. That is so weird that one came to me in Spanish first. But at least for me, American politics are so confusing. Where are you, out of curiosity? Yeah, American politics are confusing, and they're deeply irrational, right? Like the Electoral College is extremely arbitrary, and a lot of it stems from the fact that, like, most countries that are constitutional republics of any kind, they amend their constitution. They have mechanisms where it's not easy to amend their constitution, but in the United States, you literally need like 30 states to support a particular amendment or to even like support the idea of changing the constitution. So it's basically impossible to accomplish this. Like, it's like basically something you can't even dream of doing. And we used to do it, actually, but you know, the nature of politics now is that's very polarized. So like, there is baked into the country like 50 million people who would gladly sacrifice their children to the death god in order to get Donald Trump elected. I'm in Dominica. Don't confuse it with the Dominican Republic. Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool. I'm an American, so I'm really good at geography. So obviously I know exactly where you're talking about. And right now I'm definitely not Googling like where that is. Oh, it's in the Caribbean. Okay, cool. Nice. So yeah, just so everyone has a reference point here. So Dominica is here. It's this guy. It's this thing. Okay? Just so we're all on the same page here. It's east of Puerto Rico. So cool. All right. Wow. Don't say that I don't have a multifaceted. My channel has a multifaceted, multi-ethnic, multinational appeal, and nobody can convince me otherwise. Anyway, very tiresome hearing from the online leftists saying that this is not, worthy of our time, not worthy of praise. The big problem that, as I see it, is that it may just not, even if we capitalize on the no king stuff to the maximum degree, there are so many people who are so polarized, not against the Democratic Party, but just against the concept of democracy, against the concept of human rights, who their brain is completely poisoned by online, basically like Joe Rogan podcasts. They're poisoned by ridiculous like Nick Shirley crap. They live in an alternate reality that has absolutely nothing to do with the world. There's like America A and America B, and America A watches, MS Now and lives in cities, and they have the basic normal bullshit politics of YIMBY versus NIMBY, and they want to talk about whether or not abortion should be at X trimester or Y trimester, whatever. The stupid politics of liberal America that existed, before the Bush administration even. And then there's America B, which is a seething mass of wiggling maggots who basically want to destroy the land, salt it, leave nothing in their wake, bring about the annihilation of the human race through Israel as an instrument. They watch AI videos and AI slop all day long. They have no, to say that they're sapient and sentient is like a very charitable interpretation of their actions and beliefs. So as long as that's the case, and we don't have re-education camps, I'm not even kidding, I can't really imagine how even the most optimistic no king stuff can turn into real change, in the sense that we totally undo Trumpism or whatever, because even within the Democratic Party we have liberal Zionism and stuff, but this is not the same critique as what people who are terminally online leftists are saying, right? Because they're basically saying that no kings is just not worthy at all. Whereas in my opinion, it is worthy. It's one of the tools that we have to organize people, to mobilize people against the status quo and potentially get a better future, even though the odds are stacked against us in many ways. They have no alternative. They have no analysis of the situation as it exists. And they'll sit here and say that Jill Stein is the answer to all of these problems. So it's I don't even know how that is connected to reality in the first place. By the way, fun fact, the Taxist Syndicate, Mexican politics, I don't know what that means, has linked to the cartel, and in their office in Cancun, they had a torture room. Nice. And also they had paramilitaries. This has been co-opted by the cartels for decades now. Are you a leftist, liberal, or in the center? I'm a leftist. I'm like a socialist. I would describe myself as a democratic socialist, I guess, if I had to pick one, though I am generally kind of anti-labels. I believe in politics which are good, which make the world a better place. And I think that because of the positions I have on the individual issues, you would have to put me in the box that is labeled socialist, necessarily, because I think, for example, that the power of the state ought to rest with the worker. That is necessarily that is not a liberal position. That is not a conservative position. That is not a capitalist position. So, socialist is the one that's most appropriate. And I'm a big advocate of figure out your positions on the issues and then categorize yourself based on these categories are tools for observing the world we live in. They're not religions. They're not affinity groups. They're not a way to express yourself or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't believe in that. So I think that I'm a big advocate of identifying where you are on the main issues that face you and your nation. And then afterwards, you can reflect and say, well, what group does this most closely resemble? I really don't know what position I am. I just want mi Mexico lindo y querido to be safe. And you know what? Interrogate that. Think about what is a safe Mexico? What does it look like to you? Who has the power? Who gets, for lack of a better word, who gets punished? Who gets rewarded for what kinds of behaviors? What kinds of things do you want people to be doing? What kind of economics do you think, makes a safer, better place? And then I think you can work backwards from that and say, okay, well, these are liberal beliefs. These are conservative beliefs. These are socialist beliefs, whatever. I really don't think that, you know what it is? You know why I advocate for this? Because so many people who follow Trump, people who are like obsessive online leftists who are like all they do is consume bread tube content, or they just watch Hassan's stream or whatever, which is cool. I like Hassan. I agree with him on almost like most things. No shade to Hassan, but there's a lot of people who simply consume political content for the aesthetics, the vibe, and the community. So this is not real politics. Like I truly don't believe that this is actual politics, because what it actually is, it's more like, that's more like finding a religious group. It's like saying, well, what community do I fit into best? And it's very self-centered, actually. You should really engage in a process of like, what do I believe? You know what I mean? What is the right thing to, what is my sense of right and wrong? And what is the best way for the state, or the lack thereof, if you're an anarchist, right, to express that, to create, because, the world isn't going to like fit into a moral framework naturally. People will have to do things to the world, and then the world will do things back. And in that process, that back and forth, something will emerge, a reality, like an economy, like the liberal economy, right? Like liberals looked at the world and said, I want a world that is egalitarian, huge asterisks next to that, that is fair and just, huge asterisks next to that. And they acted on the world, and if you look at the history, they did this through immense violence, and the world acted back on that. There was reaction, there was blowback, there was, battle, like literally and figuratively. And the world that we have now, the liberal order, emerged from this with all of its contradictions, benefits, and drawbacks. So you ought to think of yourself as a node that interacts with the world, and think of how you want to act on it and what end state you want, and most importantly, why, right? I want the workers to own the means of production, for example, right? Why do I want this? It's because the alternatives that have been tried throughout history, which is literally like giving landed aristocracy these rights, this right to administer the state, or giving capital these rights, or in the best liberal imagining of it, pluralism, where you give the rights to a groups of people, like say, like you weigh labor and industry equally, and you let them duke it out, and you create something that's a compromise between the two or the three or the four, whatever. When people have tried this, everything just resolves back to essentially a autocratic or unfair, what I regard as unfair system, where basically the most powerful, most rich person comes out on top. So I think that while doing this with the workers would still lend itself towards a society which has the pitfalls of exclusively benefiting, not exclusively, but weighing workers' interests disproportionately, I think that this has the least number of downsides. Does that make sense? I think that this is like, workers themselves, the working class, is a diverse enough group wherein if you simply pay attention to the pluralism of the working class, that is sufficient. We don't really need to take into consideration like the pluralism of like big business and weigh that equally with the pluralism of like working people. If business is subservient to the working class, I think there could be downsides, but I think that the egalitarianism that you get from that is well worth it, essentially. I have two things I want in my country: a self-sufficient economy and equal rights to all. Well, those are very vague things. So I want to, well, self-sufficient economy is not that vague, but equal rights to all kind of is. So I think you should ask the follow-up question of like, why a self-sufficient economy, first of all, right? Like, there are benefits to, no, sorry for your rant. No, always, I literally come on here every week just to rant, so I don't mind if other people do too. I welcome it, as a matter of fact. Why self-sufficiency? Because there have always been places that have been not self-sufficient, but very successful, right? And there have been places that have been self-sufficient that have been quite successful. And equal rights to all. You know, why do you want this? What are the drawbacks of not having equal rights to all? What do you see that makes you think this? And I think these are guiding questions that can help you arrive at a good framework for looking at the world. You know what I mean? You can't, it's not enough to just say I want this outcome. You have to say why, and you have to say what is my morality here? Why is this good? Why is that bad? Why is being interdependent with other countries bad, for example? That's something you have to ask yourself, because like the world we have, a lot of the good things about it come from interdependence. So do a lot of the inequalities and unfairnesses. So you got to kind of like separate out what's good about one, good about the other. Here in Mexico, everyone is corrupt. Everyone has cartel links. Nobody has the answers. No matter who we elect, it will just stay the same as it is now. The only answer I have is for Gen Z or even millennials to get into the government and to destroy the old political traditions, but that won't happen, at least not soon enough. Yeah, I get what you're saying. And also, like, in a sense, I mean, just knowing very little about Mexican history, but knowing a little bit, the destruction or the constant revolution and destruction of the order in that country is in a sense what created the power vacuum into which cartels flow. So if you think about just destruction as an end goal, I think that I would just gently push back and say that that's actually insufficient to want simply destruction has to take into account where the power goes after. And I think this is what a lot of the Green Party people, protest vote people don't understand either, because they're like, yeah, just tear the system down. And it's like, well, a lot of places have torn the system down, and then because they didn't sufficiently have, like, they always assume they'll be the ones who sweep in after the destruction. And I think that this is the fallacy, that the person who's going to sweep in is going to be the person who's in the best position and the person who is like the most rabidly violent usually, because they'll have the advantages. So we're way off track in terms of the no king stuff, but it's been a nice discussion of like power and like why we think the things that we do. So I'm actually pretty happy that we discussed this. I have no idea how I'm going to fucking edit this later, but I'll come up with something. We just need new people in power since they don't have the cartel links and they have been the ones who have suffered at their hands. I mean, that seems like a solid starting point, honestly. Yeah. Like, don't have the cartels in charge. Seems reasonable. I can't argue with that. Okay. So let's watch this video that Imperio sent real quick. Auto translate. Let's do it. I need to practice my Spanish listening skills a little bit anyway, so this is good. So this is about exoneran a hermano de AMLO por falta de pruebas. Okay. La arfuchmanía y sus cobijas virales. Okay. So, they've exonerated AMLO's brother for a lack of proof. I don't know. Something viral. Okay. Anyway, whatever. Let's go.
Oh, and they recorded him receiving money in several yellow envelopes. The Electoral Tribunal of the Federal Judicial Branch.
Wait. Is this doing AI English?
Has closed the case of the brother. In several yellow envelopes for my...
What?
Sorry. Yes, my children, I'm talking about the former president.
Yo, what the fuck? Did they have auto translate now, as in like not just the subtitles? No. No. I don't want that. What the hell? That's awful. I'm working on it. I just, okay, like, take subtitles off. Audio track, Spanish. Subtitles. Options? What? Hold up. Sorry. Give me a minute here. What?
¡Ay! Y lo grabaron recibiendo.
Okay, I did it. That is crazy. I hate that. I want a self-sufficient economy because there have been Caribbean countries who haven't been self-sufficient, and just look at Jamaica. They're having a rough time. The only time a Caribbean country was not self-sufficient, was successful, was the Cayman Islands, but they were an outlier. I have to ask, off the top of my head, is it even possible for a Caribbean island in the modern world to be self-sufficient? Like by the size and resource constraints, right? Like Jamaica and Dominica could never like build computer chips, right? Like they don't have like silicon, right? They don't have like heavy metals or anything. They don't have like cobalt. Do you mean food and stuff like that? Like I feel like there's some limitations here where, like, specifically to the Caribbean, could you be self-sufficient? Maybe have a cooperation sphere with other states near them, like Mexico or Colombia. Okay, yeah, right. Like there's a limit. Like when we say self-sufficient, we might have to be a little more, we might have to expand our horizons there a little bit. Antigua and Barbuda is self-sufficient and very successful. That's interesting. When you say that they're self-sufficient, could you tell me like what they have that is like, do you mean food, technology? Like, is it a money thing? Like they're self-sufficient as in like they have a, like, I know, like, I don't want to stereotype, but I know that a lot of these islands have like a tax haven status, so they're able to like have a lot of dollars, which are the reserve currency, so they have ease of trade with other countries. Are we talking about that, or are we literally talking about like Antigua and Barbuda can feed themselves, create clothes, create computers, create televisions, like stuff like that? Because I feel like I think I'm missing something here. I'm not very educated on this, so maybe you can give me information I don't have.
Lana en varios sobres amarillos, Tribunal Electoral del Poder Judicial de la Federación le dio carpetazo final al caso del hermano más incómodo que ver 50 sombras de Grey con tus papás, Pío López Obrador. ¿No sirve de prueba? Entonces, ¿qué carajo sirve? ¿Quién es?
Cotton, vegetables, and a very profitable fishing industry. So it's not so much like, okay, so I think I see what you're saying. You're not saying like literally self-sufficient as in like a fortress nation that can provide all of its own needs. You mean like they have enough resources, they have enough so more like Taiwan or Korea, where they have enough of a local indigenous industry, indigenously like cultivated industry, that they have a steady flow of the reserve currency coming in so that they can buy things that they need to buy from multiple different countries without worrying about like sanctions or running out of the reserve currency. That makes sense. Yeah. I think that that's a valid goal. I think putting that in terms of self-sufficiency is interesting, but I know what you mean. Self-sufficiency within the context of our global capitalist system. And I think, yeah, you have a great point. Have you read this book before? How it's called How Asia Works, and it is actually about how countries like Korea, Japan, China, and Taiwan have all basically, I guess Taiwan's not a country, but you know what I mean. Like, they all basically cultivated a indigenous industry and using export controls and what you call it. What is it? It's two mechanisms. The first is export controls, and the second is basic land reform. Land reform plus export controls can lead for developing countries. This is specific to developing countries, to more fleshed out specialization and self-sufficient industries, which let you bring in that reserve currency.
necesita
I
la
highly
pinche
recommend
ley
it.
que llegues con el cuchillo clavado en la espalda, en la panza para que te crean, cabrón. Se dejó venir la harfuchmanía. Gracias a tanta señora que quiere dormir calientita y protegida por el Batman de Cuernavaca. Cobijas, toallas, peluches, fundas de almohada y figuras cabezonas. Hasta versiones más coloradas, como la versión de IA sin camisa.
El encuerado. Así le pusieron, encuerado.
What the fuck? Oh, as long as I got my suit and tie. Hey, Purple Queen, welcome to the stream. I was just watching a video that Imperio sent me about. It's basically Jon Stewart but Mexican. Actually, this is a blazer, so it's not. I'm not wearing a suit. This blazer's not cut out of the same material as the pants, but I do appreciate it. Yes, I did go on a bit of a clothes shopping spree recently, and I'm taking it out on my stream.
Yo soy Chubaltero y esto es el Pulso de la República. ¡Ahora Marte! Gracias por venir. Gracias, chiquillos. Mis chiquilladas,
it's very much
¿recuerdan
the
esa
same
hermosa
format.
frase que nuestro querido Divo de Juárez dijo cuando le preguntaron si le gustaba tocar el clarinete de señor? Lo que se ve no se pregunta. Y es que es tan cierto, no hay forma de negar la realidad cuando...
I'm hiding chat so that you can see the subtitles, all right? I'm not censoring you. It's not 1984.
Las cosas son tan obvias, cuando son tan evidentes, y las pruebas están ahí, a la vista de todos, gritándote en la pinche cara, igual que la enfermera le grita de Pigmeno Ibarra si ya llenó el pañal. Señor, ya le toca medicina. Me han apuntado francotiradores. Ya duérmase pues un ratito. Bueno, pues mi Juanga se equivocó en algo. Además de dar ese paso de baile que lo mandó a la lona.
Yes, you missed the segment about Druski. You're gonna have to hobble over to the YouTube segment when it goes up. That's what you get for not coming on time. I know. You know that this is what it is. When you're not a real fan, you miss the good stuff. Sorry.
Claramente no estaba pensando, sean feos, no se burlen de Juanga. Cuando le decía así, ¡ay, mi vieja! Que lo bailaba. Claramente no estaba pensando en los políticos mexicanos cuando dijo eso. Y es que esta semana se dio a conocer que el Tribunal Electoral del Poder Judicial de la Federación le dio carpetazo final al caso del hermano más incómodo que ver 50 sombras de Grey con tus papás.
Who's Druski? Well, if you go over to YouTube and you subscribe to Concernicus Live and stay on the lookout, you can see my segment on Druski. Or just wait until like an hour from now when I upload the VOD. But basically he's a performance artist / comedian. He does whiteface. He dresses up as white people and it's very funny. That's what he's been doing lately anyway. He's just a comedian.
Pío López Obrador. Nunca esperó Juan Gabriel relacionarse una nota con Pío López Obrador, ¿verdad, güey? Sí, mis niños, estoy hablando del hermano más famoso del expresidente que hace unos años, por ahí del 2020, el pinche chismosote de Carlos Loret de Mola y Latinos sacaron una investigación sobre el señor y lo grabaron recibiendo lana en varios sobres amarillos por parte de un operador muy cercano del entonces gobernador y presidente del club de fans de Carlos Rivera, Manuel Velasco. La ilusión, ¿verdad, güey? Así.
Imperio, who the fuck was that guy? Who was actually that guy who was in that video? Okay, he's not the fucking fan club president. What is that picture of AMLO's brother actually like represent? Help.
Igual que el niño chapaneco así soñando con tres.
Look, he said this. He's talking about how like this is AMLO's brother, I guess, and he took a picture with some dude or something. Like, what's going on here? What is he talking about? Thank you for the lurk, by the way. For the last 3 days, I've been randomly saying organic, like about his dog. The pup cup. He's getting bribes. Oh, okay. I don't know what I expect. This looks like a man getting bribes. I guess I should have just assumed that was correct.
Y presidente del club de fans de Carlos Rivera, Manuel Velasco. La ilusión, ¿verdad, güey? Así. Igual que el niño chapaneco así soñando con 3 comidas diarias.
That's not what ilusión means in this context, YouTube. Get your shit together.
Pero no crean que a Pío le dieron unos cuantos pesitos. No. Fueron cifras nivel Kareli Ruiz cobrando OnlyFans a fin de mes, güey. Millones de pesos. Ve nomás, un tráiler se va a comprar esta hija de la chingada. Y cuando lo cacharon, en vez de aceptar que andaba como exgobernador de Puebla caminando chueco, mi chingón... Mi chingón... No se andaba, ya ni... Mi chingón dijo que ese dinero eran aportaciones ciudadanas, porque el pueblo ama a los apellidos López Obrador más fuerte que a los que tienen apellido Mijares Lucero. ¿Lucero es nombre y apellido, como Cher?
En el otro caso, en el de mi hermano, don David León, son aportaciones para fortalecer el movimiento en momentos en que la gente era la que apoyaba.
Bueno, pues resulta que Pío ya...
Is that seriously his... Oh, him getting that shady fucking envelope in the restaurant? No. Those are just contributions to the political movement. Yeah. I'm aware that they are contributions to the political movement. That's kind of the problem.
Por su carnal, el mero dueño de este chiquero, se indignó y demandó al periodista por sacarle estos videos. Además, desde Palacio, el presidente y toda la bola de aplaudidores se pusieron y lo defendieron a capa y espada. Pero la investigación por delitos electorales empezó. Y miren, muchachos, todos sabemos que la justicia en México, en especial en este gobierno, llega porque llega, sin importar que se trate del hermano del entonces presidente. México ya es otro país. Y como dijo la Steve Irwin de Jirafas, eso ya no pasa en nuestro México. Obvio no. 6 años después de una ardua investigación.
I love the rampant cynicism that, like, every Mexican news source, like, I love how any sign of hope, basically, is met with, like, just pure derision and, like, yeah, fucking right.
El Tribunal Electoral aplicó la vieja confiable, la misma que yo apliqué cuando vi la morra que se ligó a Osvaldo meterse al baño de hombres y usar el mismo mingitorio que yo. Me cayó muy bien tu amigo. Sí, buen pedo. Yo no vi nada, yo no supe nada, yo no estaba ahí. Así es. Para el tribunal, los pinches videos no sirven como prueba, según porque fueron alterados con cortes de edición y desfases y se ven tan horribles que no se entiende nada. Ahora resulta que el tribunal se pone más exigente con la edición que los que entregan el Oscar, cabrón. No. Y bueno, el dinero, pues como fue dinero en efectivo, que no hay rastro en el sistema financiero que demostrara que esa lana se usó para financiar campañas de Morena. O que fuera directo a la bolsa de cierto viejito para remodelar la cocina de su rancho. Cabrones, ¿cómo ching? Está en video, güey. En pinches video. El pulso se ve peor de feo, güey. El audio está igual de malo, peor de cortado. Y sí, me tomó más de 2 cafés, tampoco me...
I'm starting to see why he's pissed that they dismissed the charges when it's quite literally just all caught on camera and even their cover story still makes it sound like a bribe.
Se me entiende ni madre, güey. Pero... cuando me tienen que demandar, ahí sí todo lo que sale en este canal es prueba contundente, ¿verdad? No. Creías que iba a decir pero no. Pero no dije. Entonces, pero no dije, iba a decir. Estaba así de decir, pero dije, no.
This guy has been sued for saying this shit? Right, for calling it a bribe, so he just walks up to the line of of saying it's a bribe, but he doesn't say the word. Is that the joke?
No. Entonces, bueno, ya. Entonces grabarlos recibiendo dinero en cash no sirve de prueba. Entonces, ¿qué carajo sirve? ¿Qué necesita la pinche ley? ¿Que llegues con el cuchillo clavado en la espalda, en la panza para que te crean, cabrón? No.
Buenas tardes, oficial.
Oh my God.
Vengo por una denuncia. Fui golpeado hace unos minutos. Tengo localizado al asaltante, que lo tengo grabado aquí en mi teléfono, mire.
I think it was by a politician. The host got sued. I mean, that's how you know you're doing a pretty good job, is when people start suing you for saying stuff like that. Like, you're like, hey, it kind of seems like this video of you, like, obviously taking a bribe is a bribe. It, like, you know, that's just me. And then you get, like, sued for it. That's pretty good.
¿Me puedo ayudar con el teléfono? Es que me agarró la mano.
Híjole, joven. no procede. Va a tener ahora sí que traernos mejores pruebas.
¿Mejores pruebas? Pues no mames, está en video.
Por eso. Pero se fija, su video está...
And he gets constant death threats. Are there any jobs that you can do in Mexico publicly where you aren't getting constant death threats?
Android. Aquí no aceptamos esas mamadas. Puro iPhone 16 Plus para arriba, hijo.
Oiga, no mames, pero me cagó un cuchillo, me estoy desangrando. Aquí está clavado, véanlo.
¿Y cómo yo no sé que usted está tan pendejo que se lo clavó solo? Ha pasado el puñal autoclavado.
¡No está viendo! ¡Me está apuñalando en este momento! ¡Me estoy desangrando! Oficial, nomás quítale la capucha porque no alcanzo.
Sí, mamo. A ver, primero le voy a decir que no ande levantando falsos al ciudadano. Él claramente le está dando una aportación y presentación prestación de utensilios punzocortantes, que no es lo mismo. No es lo mismo.
¡Güey, te está robando la pinche cartera! ¡Oh, me muero!
Ve, lo que pasa es que el joven me está revisando. Aquí tienes, joven. Me está revisando mi documentación y como hombre de ley, tengo que... A ver, arresten a este güey que está levantando falsos testimonios.
Oh my God.
Puede usted retirarse. Tras la noticia, y como acostumbran estos gusanazos, Pío salió a decir que esto se trató de un vil montaje mediático por la cochina mafia del poder y hacerse la víctima, diciendo que él no es corrupto ni ha cometido ningún delito, ya casi comparándose con un Nelson Mandela tabasqueño.
Amigas y amigos, el día de ayer, 18 de marzo, la Sala Superior del Tribunal Electoral del Poder Judicial de la Federación emitió por unanimidad la resolución del Consejo General del INE, mediante la cual se reconoció la inexistencia de elementos para configurar infracción electoral alguna en mi contra en relación con los videos difundidos el 20 de agosto de 2020. Esta es la tercera ocasión en que autoridades federales, autónomas e independientes concluyen que no he cometido falta administrativa, ni mucho menos delito alguno. Las pruebas periciales de la Fiscalía Especializada en Materia de Delitos Electorales demostraron que los videos difundidos por Latinus presentaban alteraciones de edición, cortes de continuidad, desfases, subtítulos engañosos y otros elementos de postproducción, por lo que no fueron tomados en cuenta y no tienen.
I do gotta say, like, I think this guy's funny, but, like, Imperio, ojo, a little bit, right? That, like, when someone who is just asking questions, just kind of trying to hold the government accountable is good, but I've seen, now that I've seen more of his videos, I do see a theme a little bit that, like, this guy, he is good at critiquing the government, and I like that, but I think there is a little bit of a reactionary strain in this channel, like, where if you look at, like, Joe Rogan and people like that on my side of the border, you get a lot of this, where they're very skeptical and critical of everything. And I think you just got to watch out a little bit that conservatism and reaction are not seeping into your beliefs because of your skepticism of a nominally left-wing government. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's a little confusing, but, like, I guess I would just say, like, you got to be a little careful of people who are, I guess, when I see his humor, like, let's be real, a little bit, it's a little racist and, like, transphobic on kind of a regular basis. And I know in Latin America, it's different, like, the environment of comedy and the way that this stuff lands. But be very careful not to kind of just say, oh, well, it's for comedy, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean you have to stop watching. It doesn't mean I'm shitting on his channel or anything, but, like, look out for it. Be critical of the criticizers as well. He makes fun of conservatives. He makes fun of a lot of other parties. Oh, absolutely. And that's great. And that's cool. I just think it's important to be critical of everyone, right? Including the guy who is critical of everyone. So I just want to say, like, I'm watching this. I think it's funny. I think it's cool. I want to push back a little bit and say that you know, we ought to be vigilant for kind of reactionary tendencies here and not just say, oh, well, you know, that it's a very corrupt government which is headed up by leftists. Therefore, you know, we can throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I mean? So like, just, I get you. Good, great. All right. I feel like I had to say that just because of, you know, the message I'm trying to send on my channel.
Valor jurídico y son insuficientes para demostrar cualquier ilegalidad.
Y desde la mañanera, ¿qué creen que pasó? Pues exactamente lo mismo. La doctora dijo que el tribunal ya dio el dictamen, que a ella no la estén chingando con sus chismes y sus calumnias, porque ahorita anda muy ocupada organizando el mundial y que el pelón de la FIFA ya le pidió dónde van a jugar los chavos de Irán porque ya no los quiere nadie en su país. Bueno.
El tribunal electoral pues dio carpetazo al tema.
Now we're talking fuck FIFA. The thing that unifies the world. FIFA sucks. Fuck FIFA. FIFA's the most evil organization on the planet after the United States.
De Pío López Obrador, el hermano del expresidente. ¿Alguna opinión sobre esto, presidenta?
Pues es el tribunal electoral, ¿no? Ellos tienen sus mecanismos para revisar si hubo una violación de algún tipo a las leyes electorales y esa es su resolución. Entonces, pues hay que revisar con base en qué hizo esta resolución.
¿Y qué personajes como Pío López Obrador sigan o estén cerca del movimiento no afecta?
Pues ya dijo el tribunal electoral que no cometió ningún delito.
Ven, mis niños, para eso era tanta reforma, para eso era adueñarse del Ejecutivo, de las dos cámaras, del Poder Judicial, del INE, para que todo trabaje en un ballet hermosísimo de nepotismo y corrupción a favor de los cercanos del poder.
Morena isn't the first one to try to dissolve the INE, and at the time, the PRI, the opposition party, tried to dissolve the INE. He attacked them, and that's when he was sued. Classic, real nice shit. So he was sued by the conservative opposition party. So he really is just like making the attempt to hold power accountable, which is good.
Esto era obvio que iba a pasar, no nos hagamos. Estos cabrones ya tienen mega experiencia en ese tipo de casos. No se vayan lejos. Colaborar con un cabrón que hace unos años también lo cacharon en video guardando fajos de billetes amarrados con ligas, güey. O sea,
shit.
¿Cuánto varo tiene que para que se truene una liga?
What?
¿Verdad? O sea, es un chingo. Antes, esto era suficiente para entambarlo y justo eso pasó hasta que estos cabrones llegaron al poder y hasta chamba le dieron. ¿Qué creen que iba a pasar con alguien que comparte el mismo tipo de sangre del patrón? Todo esto fue por una cosa, cuidar a la familia. Y como dice Toretto, la familia es primero. Así es la justicia actual, mi Charlines, selectiva como morra panista. No cabe duda que cuando eres un simple ciudadano te pueden encerrar hasta por terrorismo, pero si se trata del hermano del presidente, pues nadie dice ni pío. Regresamos. ¡Bienvenidos! Bebecitos, mis nenes, México. México es ese hermoso país que nunca fue, porque antes de llegar al buen puerto de las democracias consolidadas, preferimos convertirlo en un puesto de tianguis. Eso sí, ¿qué puesto, eh? Uno de esos que ponen eufóricas a las señoras y les alborota todo el punto medio a las nenis. Si no me creen, pongan la batiseñal y pregúntenle al secretario de Seguridad, Omar García Harfuch, quien pasó de coordinar operativos con la CIA y el FBI a competir con la popular cobija del Tigre San Marcos en la que podría ser la batalla más difícil de su carrera. Batalla que va ganando gracias a tanta señora que quiere dormir calientita y protegida por el Batman de Cuernavaca. Así es, bebecitos, en este Costco callejero al que llamamos país, surgió una nueva línea de productos estrella.
Did he seriously make fucking blankets of himself? Are you kidding me?
A la par de los peluches del Dr. Simi y de las toallas con la cara de Luis Miguel, gran toalla. Se dejó venir la Harfuchmanía, un fenómeno que elevó la temperatura de muchas amas de casa
What the
Y dime
fuck?
qué otra consumidora alegre de micheladas nacas tiene. Entre los artículos en venta, usted puede encontrar la efigie del encargado.
Dog, help me. What the fuck is he talking about? What the fuck is going on? Is the joke that he's hot? Is the joke that women buy his merch? What is happening? Help.
De la seguridad del país en cobijas, toallas, peluches, fundas de almohada y figuras cabezonas. Hasta versiones más coloradas, como la versión de IA sin camisa, mostrando unos pectorales bien formados, tonificados, sabrosos, de esos que harían babear a los admiradores de las llamadas chiches.
Cualquiera puede llevarse al secretario de Seguridad, Omar García Harfuch, a su casa para decorar su cama. Y eso ha generado furor entre las consumidoras.
Obviamente ahorita lo que la gente quiere es esto. El encuerado.
Dog, is this serious? Is you just have a hot security minister and he's got towels with his face on it? Are you fucking for Mexico's not a real place.
Así le pusieron encuerado. Está obviamente en boxer, pero no es él, pero buscamos algo que...
All right, all the John Ossoff stands in the fucking chat are definitely, they're vindicated by, this is the model that they're looking for. It's literally like, elect more hot guys to office and get the mom vote. All right, I'm seeing the vision. I was a John Ossoff skeptic, and I'm starting to see the vision. All right, I'm being radicalized by Mexican politics.
Se viera decente, educado, que le quedara...
Todo esto surgió a raíz de que después del operativo del 22 de febrero, operativo 100% planeado, ordenado y ejecutado por las autoridades mexicanas, la imagen de Harfuch se convirtió en el centro de atención nacional y materia prima del mentado ingenio mexicano, que no necesitas pretextos para gritar encuérenlo.
Muchos me han preguntado dónde conseguí mi cobija del Batman mexicano.
Beto, nadie te está preguntando eso. ¿Estás vendiendo cobijas por TikTok?
¡Cha, pinche Chumel! ¡Estilista! Ya te estabas tardando en desacreditar mi humilde emprendimiento digital.
Nada, pero güey, cobijas de Harfuch, güey, ¿qué sigue? Piñatas de Mario Delgado, un tapete con la cara de Obrar, un tambo con forma de... Bueno, ya me entendiste la idea, ¿no?
No, mi chumis. De momento puras telas. Ahora sí que sacar tela y se créame.
Órale, sí. ¿Sabes qué? No te estoy pidiendo información, ¿verdad? Jamás compraría nada con la cara de un político.
Entonces ni te ofrezco.
Bro, they gave him the craziest pecs I've ever seen. He looks like the cover of a smut fucking novel. Are you serious, bro?
Los nuevos vasos jaiboleros que me llegaron con la cara de Felipe Calderón.
No mames, dame 6.
Ahí está la doble moral. El sí vale, no vale. Como la cucaña de Polito, güey. Mira.
Oh my God.
Pero si quieres te puedo ofrecer esta cobija. Es de Chain.
Bueno, con que no me recuerda el gobierno de...
Es de Chain, ¡bam, pendejo!
Pero, viva México, a la par del fenómeno comercial han surgido teorías que señalan que esto no es una espontánea muestra de cariño mexicano, sino una operación premeditada. Y es que ya en 2023 se habían repartido cobijas con su foto y justo ahora coincide con rumores de sus aspiraciones presidenciales, pues, además de ser el miembro del gabinete que más figura, con esa figura, pues, algunas personas ya lo consideran más hermoso que Peña Bebé. Aguas, no. Hay niveles. Pero si esto fuera cierto, tan solo imaginemos el cuarto de guerra donde surgió la idea, dejando de lado spots, debates o política pública para terminar diciendo, oye, güey, estamos unas cobijas de este cabrón, güey. Para que todo México sueñe con Harfuch. Así es. México, una vez más, venciendo a la inteligencia artificial 1000-1. Mientras tanto, parece que durante un buen rato estaremos a la expectativa de ver quién vende más cobijas entre el exsecretario de Seguridad, Bad Bunny, Kareli Ruiz y el escudo de la América. Así que estén al pendiente porque en vista de las encuestas que ya no son confiables, este podría ser el nuevo termómetro electoral rumbo a 2030. Porque eso de que seas el responsable de la seguridad de un país, te pases en operativos atrapando líderes del narco y en reuniones con la cúpula de la seguridad de Estados Unidos, pero de alguna manera tu popularidad explote realmente cuando algún genio del marketing te pone encuerada una funda de almohada que seguramente alguien va a morder, es algo que... Es algo que solo puede pasar en nuestro México. Pues sí, bebecitos, lo verdaderamente fascinante no es la cobija, sino que en la política mexicana ya nada es impensable. La pregunta ahora es, ¿a dónde nos llevará el ingenio mexicano? ¿Disfraces coquetos de Batman Harfuch? ¿Muñecos inflables? ¿Un robot sexual que te hable con la voz del secretario? De lo que estamos seguros es que si conviertes a tu país en un tianguis, no te asombres si al final lo único que importa es quién mueve más mercancía, porque para eso sí, Morena y sus aliados ya se pintan solos o solas. Regresamos. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So what I'm learning from Mexican politics is that we need to find the men and women who have the biggest income on OnlyFans. We need to rehabilitate their image for a political purpose, and we need to deploy them. This is important shit that we're learning here. That was amazing. That was good. That was funny as fuck. Thank you, Imperio. That was a good one. Damn. God, how do I follow that one up? Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's do this. I want to talk. It's very funny because I'm coming down from this Mexican politics shit. That was crazy. So we're doing a huge tone shift here, but on the American side of things, we know that Elon Musk tried to do this Doge thing where it was basically a fake initiative to cut the budget. Didn't cut it at all. And I think the whole technocratic, efficient, politico type person is something that is owned mostly by like the center left and paradoxically the right wing. Like Americans still think that Republicans are more trustworthy with the economy and the budget, even though like every time there's a Republican president, we get like a crushing massive recession. Whatever, Americans are dumb, haha, burger country, lol. So I want to present an alternative, which is that Mamdani, the Democratic Socialist mayor of New York, has basically been, he's been on a roll where he's just been like filling potholes, finding efficiencies, like he cleared the streets in record time when there was a big snowstorm. So we want to look, this is what I describe as woke Doge, or real Doge, because this man has been struggling with a budget deficit, which had nothing to do with him. It was the Eric Adams administration, and this happens in every city in America. Every mayor leaves the next mayor with a ridiculous budget deficit, basically as a prank. So he's been dealing with that. So let's watch this video about how he's been dealing with that.
As someone who believes deeply in the responsibility of government to deliver for working class people, I also believe it's our responsibility to deliver a government that's efficient, with every single dollar being put to the best possible use. That's why 2 months ago, I asked agencies across city government to find $1.7 billion in savings, without compromising essential services. Here are just a few things we've found so far. Even just by capping how much we spend on paper, pens, and office supplies, we're gonna save more than $27 million. The city was paying for a lot of work from outside contractors that was costing us far too much. So we're bringing a lot of that work in-house and saving our budget millions on things like IT services and software. We've also found that sometimes we've been overcharged for life-saving medicine, like naloxone. So we're renegotiating that contract and saving another $1 million. Our contract with McKinsey at the Department of Social Services, no more. That's $9 million that we won't be spending next year. The city rents lots of property it doesn't actually need. So we're going to shrink our physical footprint and save millions on leases. And we want to make sure that the programs we're delivering to New Yorkers are being used as intended. So we're going to strengthen verification to ensure that homeowners getting tax breaks are actually living in that home. This adds up to another $13 million a year. You've heard me say this time and again. In fighting a $5.4 billion fiscal deficit, we need to tax the rich and end the drain that's been our relationship with the state for far too long. As we pursue that, though, we also have to take a close look at our own spending and cut waste wherever we can. When we're looking to put our city back on firm financial footing, no saving is too small. We'll keep you posted every step of the way. Because to deliver public goods, you have to first deliver public excellence.
Oh, I love that. So I guess, first of all, just to comment on the video itself, beautiful, wonderful communication as always, public excellence. This is literally what we need, because the stupid bullshit stereotype is so often that like socialists, leftists don't understand government. They're like naive, basically. They don't know how any of this works. But the fact is, socialism is predicated, at least, you know, socialism that isn't related to anarchism, okay, is predicated on the belief that you can use the state to benefit the people, that you can use state capacity. And I've been saying this forever. The tendency of American cities and states to use consultants and to outsource to the American private sector rather than building their own expertise and capacity to build and do shit is creating massive costs that are completely unnecessary. And if you want a great example of this, look at California's high-speed rail program. The amount of money we spend as compared to like France or Spain or China or whatever, those countries build their own fucking rail. The engineers work for the government. They are government employees and experts. So the government, after they are gone, after they have done with a project, have that expertise to draw on, and they can do it again and again and again. It gets cheaper every time because they find efficiencies. So this attitude that Mamdani has is stupendous. But on a less serious note, I wanted to know, let me know if I'm losing it here, okay? If I'm missing something, because something...
When a person was shot...
It seemed very familiar, this video. The setting, the cadence, the look. And I think that Mamdani is trolling and that he's referencing this video. But please tell me if I'm wrong, okay? Let's just watch it. It's a classic. I think nobody's going to be hurt by watching this. It's always a fantastic watch. Eric Adams is a unique mind, okay? He's evil and easily corrupted, and he lost his basically job because he took Turkish flights as bribes. But you know what? Let's
doors
watch.
From my house, I realize how important my crusade is of removing illegal handguns off the streets of New York. Hi, I'm New York State Senator Eric Adams, and for 22 years I wore a bulletproof vest and stood on the street corners and protected children and families in the city of New York. I'm asking you to join me in this crusade of removing illegal handguns off our streets and out of our homes. Please come and join me inside my house as to empower parents on how to search a room inside their home. It's imperative that you should know what's inside your house.
Does this setup look familiar? Am I losing it? Tell me in the comments if I'm losing my mind here, all right? Because I think that the setup is similar, and I don't think it's a coincidence.
And no one can state that you can't search a room in your own home. You write the Constitution. There are no First Amendment rights inside your household. It is your obligation and responsibility not only to protect the child that may be using an illegal drug or carrying an illegal gun, but you also have to protect the members of the household, their younger brothers and younger sisters, and the other elder members of the household. So by periodically sending a message to your home that there are no rooms off limits, you don't believe in locked doors, your house is open to inspection by your house and the members of your house. The message is you expect your children to do what's right, but you always have to inspect what you expect. And that's the key to providing some preventive safety. So if you come to a room like this, you can start out, I always recommend to start out in a periodic fashion so you'll be used to going through the room to look at the various items in the room. You can look in the jewelry box. A jewelry box of this nature, maybe a simple jewelry box, but if you look through it closely, you don't know what your child may be hiding. For instance, a gun could be hidden, a small caliber weapon could be hidden inside a jewelry box. Look at the various colognes and perfumes and photos and pictures. You should always, when your child brings in his popular knapsack with many different locations, look through it to see what
his popular knapsack with many different locations will be a fucking iconic statement for the rest of all time, okay?
Exactly is your child carrying in addition to a book? Something simple as a crack pipe, a used crack pipe. Could he have found it on the street? That's quite possible. But this is a discussion piece where you should start speaking with him to find out what is he doing with it and the whole use of drugs. This invokes conversations. Look at picture frames and behind them, cameras. Try to determine what's taking place. Behind a picture frame, you can find bullets. What does that mean to find bullets?
What does that mean?
Your child is carrying a gun? No. Where there's smoke, there's possible fire. Where there's a bullet, there's possibly a gun. You should engage in the conversation and find out what are they doing with the item, and this empowers the parents. Look at all the items inside the room and feel around and see what's the possibility. Something simple as a baby doll Could be just a baby doll, but also it could be a place where you can secrete or hide drugs. Run your hands over the pillows and see if you feel anything.
Me when I secrete my drugs in the baby doll.
That's unusual. Like a pillow like this where the button is a perfect invitation to hide something. And I've felt something bumpy. I will reach in, see what it is. This one could be hidden inside a pillow, a gun. Maybe something that you'll think that can't be hidden there, but it can. And
who amongst us has not found a pillow revolver?
what happens not only when the person who is carrying this illegal gun is in possession of it, but also a child that comes into the room.
Are you MAGA? No, the opposite.
And plays on the bed, they find this gun. Let me tell you what a child would do. A child would take this gun, and because the trigger pull is so hard, they normally take the gun and they point it in their direction to pull down on it. So many gun accidents take place merely because a child discovers a gun in the room and believes it's a—
Yo, thank you for the follow. Heath is back, baby. I appreciate it. Welcome to the community. You're a follower now, so feel free to use any of those follower emotes. Those are brand new.
Toy, and they play with the gun. Just look and see what's inside your bookcases. It could be more than just books. Perfect place to hide cocaine or other illegal substance inside the room. My message to you: you have an obligation to protect your home.
Yo.
The First Amendment does not—
Okay. We've seen enough. So let me know later in the comments if I just see Eric Adams everywhere and this has nothing to do with it. But when I saw the new Zohran Mamdani video of him kind of going through all the cupboards and finding money for New York, I couldn't help but think of this video. And I don't know. My conspiracy theory— oh, Young Mogul, thank you for the follow. Hell yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, good, because I stand them. You stand MAGA? Like you're a MAGA guy? I can't stand them. Oh, good, great. Yeah, you're in the right place. I can't either. I don't like ban people for being Republicans or being MAGA like off the jump. But like you're allowed to come in here and disagree. It's more of like a be nice kind of thing. But I'm a socialist, okay? So like I'm sitting here basically talking about how Mamdani is doing awesome sewer socialism and dunking all over Eric Adams right now. So like it's a pretty clear type of community that I'm trying to build here. But welcome. I see a couple people have come in, so you know, that's dope. What's your biggest pet peeve with MAGA? Mine is their general cult-like following. It's mostly— oh, you know what it is? I was talking about this earlier. My biggest pet peeve with MAGA is that they are aggressively always talking about how they have a persecution complex, like they're discriminated against and all this shit. But the millisecond that you return any of their vitriolic, angry energy, if you make fun of them a little bit, like what Druski did and like donning whiteface and satirizing MAGA, they start crying and pissing and shitting themselves. They can't handle it. You know what I mean? Like it's just pure— it's the patheticness, you know what I mean? Like 1 second they're like, oh yeah, we're the big MAGA super soldiers, and then like the second they receive the smallest bit of criticism, they are the biggest woke coded like snowflake sensitive, like, you know, coddle my feelings. Like they came up with the whole canceling thing, right? Like they're persecuted, they've been canceled because they said the N-word in public, and now their employer has been called. But the biggest canceling event ever was when people made fun of the Charlie Kirk thing. They have no values. They literally don't care. You know what I mean? You think Hasanabi is a good representative of the socialist movement? Yeah, mostly, yeah. I mostly agree with him, and I think that, like, factually, he has a very, very large audience, and he essentially mostly just kind of pushes a bog standard democratic socialist vision of how America should be. I'm very critical, though, of his foreign policy takes. Like, I studied international relations in college. I'll make that your problem right now in political science, and, like, I'm not one of those guys who like, oh, there's so much nuance that we need to like in a nuanced fashion give Israel $10 trillion to blow up Palestinian children. But I do think that his kind of campist America bad, West bad foreign policy positions tend to like be kind of cringe. Like I feel like he's clearly catering to a specific audience of like 17-year-old campus with his foreign policy takes, and I think that that's my biggest point of disagreement with him. But I don't think that's enough to say, for example, that he's a bad representative of the socialist movement, right? Like, he is an accurate representation of most socialists in America, warts and all, and he's a very good advocate for our best positions. So, you know, I have no problem with him, if I'm being honest. To the extent that I disagree with him, I think that's fine, right? Like, I don't think that he would freak out to know that I disagree with him on these things. I don't think that it needs to be an uncivil disagreement, you know what I'm saying? So, like, that's basically my position on Hasan. He's cool. And you know what? This kind of, I'll stop this segment right now. Why are you dressed up so nicely? Oh, well, last week I've been sick for a little bit, and I've been hunting for a new job, and I just got a new job, so I kind of treated myself, and I got this new blazer. And I got a couple other blazers too. So basically, I'm making that your problem, essentially. I usually dress a bit more casually, but you know, the tie is something I don't normally do. Congratulations, thank you. I don't talk about my field or what my job is on streams. I don't think that they need to mix or whatever, but that's just the recent achievement, basically. So right now I'm streaming on Sundays. So next week I'll also stream on Sunday, but after that it's going to be on either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I need to decide. So if you have a preference, you're new to the community, you can feel free to let me know, and I'll take that into consideration picking the new time for stream. But right now I'm 7 p.m. Pacific time on Sundays, and that'll be next week too. But so I wasn't going to do the tie, but this blazer, like, when you only see the top half of me, it really looks like a suit, and I felt like this color navy is very like formal coded. Even though if you really look closely, you can see it actually has a bit of a texture. It's not like a proper suit, it's just a blazer. But I felt like it didn't make sense with the tie. I felt like there's a lot of like news anchors and stuff who do the no tie look with like very formal blazers, and I think it looks kind of off. So it's not like I've got other ones where I'll just wear like a white t-shirt underneath or something. But yeah, I just want to show off my new clothes in any context possible, essentially. But anyway, one second. Let me end that last segment. So I'll upload that. Not gonna lie, it looks good on you. Thank you. Fuck yeah, let's go. I appreciate that a lot. So recently, a lot of personalities on the left, the center left, liberals, who are basically the right, have been talking about Hasan and how he sucks and how we shouldn't listen to him and all this shit. Let me see if I can get it. I didn't prepare this segment, but it's something I did want to talk about. Yeah, look. Just right off the bat, why some Democrats want to shut off Hasan's megaphone. Hasan Piker rallies spark backlash in Michigan Senate primary. Third Way's campaign against Hasan Piker is crushing the left, by Zateo, who's based. Like, recently we had, what's it called? Mallory McMorrow in the Michigan primary for Senate basically threw Hasan under the bus. She accused him of being anti-Semitic, which is ludicrous. There's like no evidence that he's anti-Semitic, and said that Abdul Al-Sayed, who is the progressive in that race, shouldn't have done rallies with him. And Third Way and all these freak centrist technocrats who don't really have a real constituency have been saying that Hasan is going to like kill the party and we need to like not associate with him anymore. I really don't care for any of this, and I think it's very ridiculous. And actually, look, this Politico article, if I recall, right? Oh no, it's not the one. Okay, anyway, I can't find it right now, but there was an article that said that he's like, yeah, this is what it is. Okay, look, this is an insane thing to say. So Haley Stevens, who is a hyper-Zionist, said someone who's campaigning with someone like that, like Hasan, is not going to win in Michigan. And then McMorrow said, Piker says extremely offensive things in order to generate clicks and views and followers, which is not entirely different from somebody like Nick Fuentes. Dog. Nick Fuentes is a Nazi. He is a Nazi, bro. He thinks that the Holocaust didn't happen. I try to get attention, dude. I say shit that I think will get attention. Hasan Piker says he says shit to get attention. Every Democrat with a platform should say things to get attention. And yes, Nick Fuentes also says things to get attention, but to say that this is to draw that similarity is like completely unhinged. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all politicians and political figures ought to say things that get an audience, that get attention. It's 2026, bro. The attention economy is a thing that exists. And that's why Hassan Piker is so popular. Is because he's good at saying shit that gets people talking. So I think it's absolutely like unspeakably evil, honestly, to start comparing any leftist who gets attention to an actual neo-Nazi, like an actual white supremacist pig, like fucking Nick Fuentes, you know, a gay Mexican twink Nazi, and you're fucking talking about how he's exactly the same as Hassan Piker. Like, bro, this needs to stop. You can't like the Democratic Party is a big tent by necessity because the US doesn't have like a real party system. Anyone can run as a Democrat if you get the votes, like honestly. Hassan can prove he's not by kissing the wall. Yeah, if Hassan proves that his absolute fealty to fucking Netanyahu and Batar and all these freaks over in Israel, then you know, Mick Morrow will get off his back. And it's crazy because like Mick Morrow, I think, is supported by J Street, and AIPAC said that they support Mick Morrow. Like, she won't take money from them, right? But AIPAC basically just said anyway, like, we would rather that she win over Abdul al-Sayed. And like, look, these Zionists are like literal terrorists. Like, as far as I'm concerned, if you get like an endorsement from the Israel lobby, I don't really see how that's different from getting an endorsement from like Al-Qaeda or something. Like, these are people who have openly endorsed, funded, and perpetrated terrorist attacks against civilians like a million times, bro. What are your thoughts on Iran? Like, I mean, I'm no fan of the, like, I am a socialist, okay? This circles back to what I was talking about with campism earlier. There are movements and groups and parties around the world who are nominally opposed to US imperialism, specifically because the United States attacks them very directly. And I don't think that I need to say that I am like openly supportive of, for example, the theocratic fascism of Iran's government, right? I feel like I can say that they are in the right in this narrow situation. Like, in the situation of like Israel and the USA versus Iran, Iran is the lesser of two evils, which is kind of shocking, but it's absolutely true. You know what I mean? Like, Iran has been pretty bad in its human rights record and in its theocratic, you know, structure. But the Israel United States project in the Middle East is a war of conquest and expansion. And there's no way around that. Lots of countries and places that have been victims of wars of conquest and expansion have had extremely bad governments, but that doesn't mean that like it's okay to do it. Like, a lot of people, like, ironically, a lot of leftists will say that the invasion of Ukraine is okay because Ukraine contains neo-Nazis, but I'm kind of a maximalist on this, where I'm like, no, like, if Ukraine was literally a government run by neo-Nazis instead of run by, like, you know, a Jewish liberal, which it is, it still would be bad for its neighbor to invade it. Like I believe in a rules-based order. I don't believe in the liberal rules-based order. I don't believe in the rules-based order where the United States gets to do whatever the fuck it wants and everyone else has to just suffer it. But I think most people, even the people who are against the rules-based order, when you ask them what the world should look like, they just describe a rules-based order with slightly different rules. So I think regardless of the type of regime, I feel like I can easily say that theocracy is very bad, and I do not like it, and I am not a fan. And also that the United States and Israel should not, like, constantly bombard, starve out, strangle Iran, create this insane crisis where, like, the price of oil goes up to, like, $200 fucking a barrel or whatever, in the name of what? Iran not getting a nuclear weapon? Like, I don't believe that that's actually what they're aiming to do. It's all pretextual. Do you think Iran did kill 30,000 plus protesters for standing up to the regime? I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, but the information environment is abysmally bad. You understand that, right? That, like, one of the plagues of our current information environment is that, like, you'll have a conflict and many countries can just shut their internet down, and you'll get these like videos off Telegram and shit, and the people who put the videos out have all kinds of interests and positions, and you have to just kind of say like, is this true or not? And you're just a person watching a video of another country and people like dying or people getting hurt, and you have to like make a determination on whether something is true. Oh, sorry. That's my alarm to make like a protein shake before quiet hour starts in like 45 minutes, but whatever, in my apartment building. Anyway, I think that like, I can't say for sure whether they killed 30,000 protesters, but the Iranian regime is more than happy to kill protesters because of the structure of their ideology and their government. You know what I mean? Like, one of the problems with Iran is that like they would do that, they can do that. They literally like, they do like public hangings in Iran, right? Like they'll hang someone from a crane in public. Like that is against my values. Like that is very bad. Also, what do you think of MBS / some Gulf state leaders also being for the operation against Iran? I mean, those states are evil as fuck. They're basically slave states. They're kind of fake states. They're just propped up by American money in a lot of sense. So, and the the petrodollar. So, it's like, what's that meme? I would actually be comfortable if everyone in this situation died. Like, it's really dumb. I don't know. In a sense, there's no good guys, but I do think obviously Israel and the United States are the bad guys. And I think that it's very telling because Iran, all of their retaliatory strikes have been at the oil capacity and the US military bases in the Gulf states. So when they say they're for these operations in Iran, they're saying that they're willing to sustain those losses essentially in order to arrive at a new political situation where Saudi Arabia and UAE are the hegemons in the region, representing the Arab constituencies, and Israel is its own kind of mini hegemon in the region, supported by US power. So, all evil, ridiculously evil situation where Iran is unambiguously the lesser of the two evils when you're talking about like the block of Gulf states, United States, Israel versus Iran. So, it's a situation where a lot of regular proletarian working people are losing. They're always the losers in all of this, aren't they? But it's also unambiguous who the fucking worst person is. What do you think about the new Snape teaching kids how to make lean in potions class? Hey, that's fucked up. You can't talk about Black Snape like that. Chatter, what are you doing? Chatter, stop, wait, no. I think you shouldn't watch the new Harry Potter show. I think, actually, I'm gonna cut this segment out. Hassan, good. Iran, less bad. Hassan, good. Democrats, stop saying bad Hassan. Okay, so that's my thesis statement for that segment. We can go on to the next one. This motherfucker who somehow is always yapping and talking. She won't shut the fuck up. You know her, you hate her. J.K. Rowling put this out in response to the International Olympic Committee has banned all trans people, against all evidence, by the way, banned all trans people from participating in the Olympics. There's been like 2 trans people ever, and I think they were both trans mask. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments what the actual figure is. I'm not looking it up right now. Yeah, I know it's an infinitesimally small number of trans athletes. And of course, who does she post? But what's her name? Iman? What's her? Oh God, help me! What's this woman's name? This is a cis woman who won for Algeria, I think the gold medal in boxing. A cis woman from Algeria who was in the Olympic Committee, who was getting mercilessly transvestigated and abused. Isn't that the dude with the micro penis? Absolutely not. And you're getting the strike 1 on that one, chatter. All right, you got to chill. But this is not a transphobic chat. We can't be talking like that. All right, because like this person doesn't have anything like that. This is a woman. This is a cis woman born with female sex. You know what I'm saying? Like born assigned female at birth. And she has been subject to a basically endless harassment campaign. I'm serious. Look it up. I have looked it up. This is unambiguously a cis woman. Okay, so this person, Iman Khalif, I think is her name. Now I gotta look it up. Iman Khalif. Yes, Iman Khalif. I might be pronouncing that wrong. So, Iman Khalif has been subject to an extremely horrifically bad, I'm talking death threats, I'm talking like extremely transphobic rhetoric aimed at someone who isn't even trans. And J.K. Rowling is out here using her massive platform, 168,000 likes, fucking 8 million views, talking about how this IOC ruling would a welcome return to fair sport for women and girls, as if this is going to apply in any way to Iman Khalif. Like, and it doesn't. It simply does not apply in any way. And like, I don't think that there's any reason to support this woman. I don't think there's any reason to support her quote unquote art, this new HBO series about Harry Potter or whatever. I'm not usually like a purity tester when it comes to consuming media because of the artist or whatever. If you watch a show with a conservative actor or whatever, I don't think that that's like a big deal. I think that like you got to draw the line where somebody is explicitly just trying to profit off of their activism. And in this case, J.K. Rowling is like an aggressive TERF activist whose whole thing is being as transphobic as possible, essentially. And she would, if every red cent that she gets, or what's the fake money they use in the UK? Every pence that she gets from this shitty show, which is basically a carbon copy of the movies anyway, so it's kind of redundant, will be channeled into anti-trans rhetoric like this that is both inaccurate, harmful, and ultimately, if you are a cis woman, you have to understand that this is the end game. Someone just like you will also be hurt by this. You shouldn't have to be hurt by this in order to be, like, I'm a cis man, I'm not going to be hurt by this, but it shouldn't matter whether you are hurt specifically for you to support something or be against something. But like, this person, J.K. Rowling, is here to do activism using the money from her properties, which are extremely popular. And I just don't think that I can honestly support somebody watching this shit and giving her that money. You got to remember that the only reason that she even made the show in the first place is because the original cast of the movies don't like this rhetoric. They're not transphobic. They're normal people. Like, yo, like, they're not on board with this. They're accepting normal people who don't have an absolute fixation and obsession with trans women. And they've been vocal about that. And they have even been trying to be nice to her, frankly. They've given her a lot more grace than she deserves if you look at their public statements. But she is vitriolically, aggressively hateful, and they're too old to be playing the characters. They wouldn't play them anyway. They have they've made their bank and they're out of here anyway, you know what I mean? But they would never have played the characters anyway. What makes J.K. Rowling mad is that she watches the movies, the old ones, she sees them, you know, not that she's sitting there watching them all again, but I mean, like, the idea that these people who disagree with her radical conservative politics are starring in the movies of her books makes her so angry that she went out of her way to start a new project where no, I'm not saying they aren't starring in it because of her views. I'm saying that she created a new project to basically record over the old project so that she doesn't need to think about the fact that those actors who were by all accounts a part of her life, a part of her professional life, who are the reason she has like so much of her money aside from the books, she wants to kind of erase that, start over with a new crop of actors, you know what I mean, that don't openly oppose her positions. So it's like, it is a spite project. The whole thing was built out of spite, and the whole reason it was built only exists because of her anti-trans views, because of her straight up bigotry. Like, J.K. Rowling is like a hyper bigoted person when it comes to trans people. So like, deeply shameful. I don't know. I think that like, I think that a lot of boycotts of media are like kind of silly. But I do think that like when it's this brazen and when everything is so deeply connected to the politics and the only reason it exists is out of spiteful politics, then like I don't know, man. I would just say don't watch that shit. Like you can step aside and skip this one. And honestly, there's no point in watching it anyway because it's the whole thing, the art design, the way it's organized, the way that it's structured is all meant to be as identical to the original movies as possible, but also J.K. Rowling won't feel so angry viscerally when she watches it. So like, is that a good reason to make art? Is that a good reason to make a show? I don't think so. And I don't think that you need to be sending your money to someone who's going to just spend it on crazy screeds against trans people and also against cis women that J.K. Rowling determines aren't cis. You know what I mean? Because for no particular reason, like the new IOC ruling, and I cannot emphasize this enough, does not apply to Iman Khalif. It doesn't. It doesn't apply to her. She is a cis woman, and she is not going to be impacted by it. So, like, this whole shit, she's acting like there's some kind of scandal. The scandal of Paris 2024, when people who consider themselves supremely virtuous and progressive publicly cheered on men punching women. All of this only started because this Italian woman, whose profession is getting punched in the face, got punched really hard in the face, and then her reaction was basically like, you punched me so hard, you must be a man. And then all the hordes of TERFs and freak conservatives did a dog pile online, came out here saying that like, oh yeah, Iman Khalif is a man, blah, 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 blah. She's, you know, a trans woman, blah, blah, blah. So like, if you care about the truth, and if you care about the science also, which the science basically entirely says that all of the science says that actual trans women when they go through the hormone therapy or whatever and then compete in sports tend to perform worse than their cis women counterparts. So like if you should go out and look at the science on this and try to find something that says trans women shouldn't be in sports. You try and it's very like it's not good. My position on this mostly stems from the fact that I haven't seen a single piece of like actual credible scientific research that considers trans women to be heavily advantaged in sports. So like consider actually like looking into that stuff because it's not what you would expect. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of it stems from people assuming that there is a scientific basis for being transphobic or whatever. But then you actually look at it and it's not like that at all. Absolutely not. Like, oh, no. Okay, hold up. I'll show what this chatter said. I've been looking into this and it seems that this person has XY chromosomes, but born a female. So I don't know. The XY chromosomes thing comes from undisclosed test results, I believe from Russia, which haven't been corroborated by anyone, which were not corroborated by the testing when she actually was in the 2024 Olympics. So like it's basically tabloid shit. And yes, she was born, you know, she's assigned female at birth. Absolutely. There's no like evidence to corroborate those test results essentially. So like a lot of TERFs and conservatives are kind of hammering over and over this International Boxing Association finding, but it wasn't confirmed by the IOC, who, you know, you can see the IOC is hardly like a trans positive organization. They're hardly a progressive organization or anything that has a vested interest in letting people with XY chromosomes compete in women's sports or whatever. And they absolutely, you know, didn't do that. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what else. There isn't much else to say on it. Don't watch the stupid fucking Harry Potter thing. Yap Central. Yeah, yes, you are in Yap Central. You are in the capital of Yap, the Yap country. You're in Yapistan. I want to do some dumb bullshit for a little bit. So I want you guys to tell me which of these people did which of these crimes. Help me. I'm going to try to do a scientific analysis here. Try to do some serious work here. So we're going to take a break from politics to look into the politics of phrenology, the politics of should you judge a book by its cover? This is important shit. free Yapistan. Yeah, okay. Okay. Which of these people did these crimes? Help. I'm going to try. I'll get started. So I am going to go right off the bat and say that the blurred cosmic entity, all 5 on suspect number 2. Heath is back, baby. I'm so curious. What is your logic for that? Why don't you expound on that one? I want say more. We're just having fun here. I'm just curious, like, what your reasoning is for that one. Suddenly quiet. Suddenly the absolute yapping champion. Yeah, I knew it. Fucking so tedious, bro. Dude, these people come with fucking pre-canned messages. It's so boring. You know, you try to have nice things. You try to tell people that disagreeing is fine, and then they come out here with the most racist shit you've ever seen in your life. Who would have guessed? And actually, I think I'm just going to can this one for now and do the last video one because I didn't realize, but it's 9:30 and I normally only do these for, what you call it, 2 hours. And I am losing my voice. So, I don't know. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call it for this evening because I'm literally sitting here losing my voice, sweating, and all this shit, and it's too much. But I'll be back next Sunday, and then after that, I'm going to switch to the new schedule. So thank you to everyone who showed up. Thank you to everyone and everyone who is new to the channel, new followers, new subs. That's all dope. If you want to catch some of the segments that I had earlier, you can head over to YouTube or TikTok, where I upload a lot of shorts. And yeah, I hope everyone